Now, I was a kid during the Vietnam War. I got to legally evade Vietnam because I was at BYU. I had a father's deferment. I had a college deferment back in those days, the Aryan race, as usual. We didn't have to fight. We just sent the black people to be mutilated and put into that meat grinder. And I knew a little bit about basic training, not from personal experience. We went down there. We were sitting in the little bleachers, and her, whatever it was, I don't know these things, battalion, unit, whatever, all came out onto the platform staging area. And here was, I don't know, 100 men that were 6 feet, 6'2", 6'4", standing there, shoulder to shoulder. Who had gone through basic training, running, jumping, being yelled at, screaming, push-ups, jumping, running, middle of the night, up 3 a.m., whatever. As I sat there was one United States soldier that was 5'3" and weighed just over 100 pounds. In this proud United States Army, who were trained to protect you and I. And that was my Abigail. The Mormon church hates her. I'm sorry. She can't get married. She can't go to the temple. She is treated worse than an animal by this hideous, unchristian cult. Does this cult church hurt people? Courts of love. Blacks can be in heaven. They're servants. Abigail can now be baptized in the Mormon church, but she can't hold any positions. And if she falls in love with anybody that is not male, she's going to be tortured. She's going to be excommunicated. She is destined to live a life of loneliness in the Mormon church, of feeling less than a second-class citizen, guilt. I want to tell you, This is so hard for me. It's so hard that this church, they call themselves, is so cruel. They see what they do. They're not strangers. See? AI. You watch enough of my videos, you'll see those phones call, and you'll see when I put these principles out, there are forces that don't want you to hear this. It hurts me so bad that this little girl that I took in abject poverty out of the Philippines, not having enough to eat. I asked Abigail when I first adopted her, have you ever been really hungry? And she said, well, Dad, not really. When we didn't have enough food, this is an LDS family. When we didn't have enough food, Grandpa would push his plate over to me so that I didn't have to be hungry. Grandpa always wore his garments. Grandpa saved for years to take them to the temple in Manila. And that's the way the Mormon church left them. Allison with typhoid fever, no money, medication, no food for the children. So I bring this little girl to the United States. When I was in the Philippines, they didn't have beds. I bought Abigail her first bed. She had slept on the ground her whole life. And when she got it, she was, 8, 9 years old. She didn't even know what it was. I had to show her how to lay in a bed. And this cult took their pesos, 2 cents. That's what a peso is worth, 2 cents in the United States. And this cult said to them, if you can't buy food with your money, pay your tithing, pay that food money to the Mormon church, and we'll take it to Salt Lake City and give 15 men planes, houses, cars, free education. Because those men represent Jesus Christ. When I was in the Philippines, I was an American, white, Aryan, a god to the Filipino people. And when I adopted my 2 girls, I got very clear warnings that you better not put them in public school because they will be kidnapped and they will be held for ransom and they could end up dead. So I went to a private school and registered the 2 girls, and they accepted Allison. And they said to me, we're not going to take Abigail. There was no place for me to put her to be safe. And then Rainbow School in Butuan. The school had soldiers, private soldiers out front of the school with AR-15s loaded that stood there every day while the kids were there coming to school and back to protect them. And when they said, we're not going to take Abigail, where was I going to put her? Where was I going to put her where she wasn't going to be raped, kidnapped, held for ransom? Money. Money. Like the Mormon church. Money. Money. So I went to the director of the school and I begged. I said, let me pay in advance because money is very important in the Philippines. And of course, that Mormon church teaches the world about hoarding money. And I said, let her come to school for a month or so. And if she can't matriculate, I understand. I'll have to make other arrangements. But could you just please just give her a chance? That's all human beings need, is a chance. They did. She matriculated, graduated. After she was graduating from boot camp, she was deployed. And I said, honey, where are they going to send you? It's a big world. It's a big world. There's a lot of safe places in the world, even in the military. She said, Dad, I'm going to South Korea. You don't know how many nights as a father I worried, prayed, hoped. I knew the North was launching those nuclear missiles all the time. And I knew she was just within a few miles of the border. And I knew that at any time the people could come across that border and my daughter would be tortured, dead, prisoner of war, whatever. And I said, honey, what is your job in the army in South Korea? What do you do? And she said, Dad, I can't tell you. I said, well, honey, you've been able to tell me anything and everything your whole life. She says, I know, but I have top secret clearance. And I can't tell anybody what I do. So for a year or two, I was concerned on pins and needles, wondering if somebody's going to push the button, watching the elections in the United States, terrorized that crazy people are going to do crazy things, and my daughter is going to be in the middle of it. And one day, Abigail called me. Dad, I have some news for you. I go, good. I hope it's good news. She said, I've been promoted to a sergeant. See, these are the gays and the lesbians that the Mormon church and the American government hated for a long time. She's sitting there protecting just miles away from nuclear missiles and nuclear war. And now she's in charge of other people and training them. She's a sergeant in the United States Army. And while she was there, she said, Dad, I met somebody. I said, oh, okay. Is it serious? And she said, yeah, it's pretty serious. Um, I'm in love with her. I said, well, are you thinking maybe of spending the rest of your life together, getting married, and being a family? She says, oh, yeah, that's what we're thinking, Dad. And I talked just briefly with her mate, very beautiful, very young. Well, not young. She was in the service too. They were both in the Army. And then I got a call not too long ago, and Dad, I'm being redeployed. I'm going to Sicily, and I'm going to be there on a NATO base protecting Europe. And by the way, I'm married. My wife is flying over here, and we're buying a house together. This was the quality kind of person that the Mormon Church today hates. Yeah, it's emotional to me because I have one daughter. I may have other children that are gay or lesbian. I don't know. They haven't said anything. But this is the quality of a human being who came from the depths of poverty in her own family that the Mormon Church would not even give food to or medication to her sister, and let them both sleep on the ground with the animals and the snakes and the spiders and scorpions and iguanas in that jungle. Abigail wasn't good enough. She's still not good enough. She can't get married in their temple. She can't have any kind of a position of authority. What is wrong with this organization? I guess the better sentence is, what is right with this organization? Do they do anything right? Or is it all just hate, hate, hate? Every group of people that they find, they victimize and they hate. And then they look at the principle of Christ, the Sermon on the Mount, and they look at the lady in adultery, and they say they represent this man, this God, that they represent him, that they do what this man says. And I'm saying, does this man come to their temple in Salt Lake City every Thursday and say, treat Abigail and these other people this way? They say yes. This man says, don't give Abigail any rice. Don't give Allison any medication in the Philippines. Well, I'm triggered again. My granddaughter, Alexa. I've never said it on any video because it hurts too much. It's a trigger. Alexa was in an LDS family, part of this family that I adopted my children from. Alexa would be one of my grandchildren. And she died. 2 months old. She died. $300 billion in their bank account. They couldn't find $15 for Allison's medicine. They couldn't help Abigail get into a school to protect her life. And now Alexa's dead. I guess I've made this video too long, but I had to get these things out of my mind and off of my chest before I die. I want the facts. I don't care what people think. I don't care what the truth is. I want people to have the facts of how this organization has affected me, my children, my grandchildren, my life. If you still can give your money to them so they can put it in the stock market, rather than giving your money to them and having them buy a little bit more rice for the children, like my children in the Philippines who went without. And if you can still praise to the man rather than praise to the Lord Jesus Christ, if you can read their scriptures and their doctrine rather than the doctrine of the Bible, which is not perfect, but it certainly gives us the overview of the principles of the life of Christ. I had to get out. I'm so proud that I got out. I'm so proud that I can sit here as a father and say to my lesbian daughter, congratulations on your marriage. Congratulations on finding somebody that you can love, that you can honor, that you can cherish, someone who fulfills you as a human being. And Abigail, I'm doing everything I can. I've protected you since you were a little girl. I never let anybody in the Philippines or anywhere else make fun of you, to make you feel like a second-class citizen, to make you feel mentally ill. I'm not going to let the Mormon Church treat you like they treat other people. I'm going to stand up to the Mormon Church. I'm going to say no to the Mormon Church. I'm going to say she is better than most people. She's defending the country. She's a soldier in the United States Army and a sergeant, and protected us from the missiles in North Korea, and now protecting us in NATO in Sicily. She's married. She's happy. She pays her bills. She's an honorable human being. And the Mormon Church, fuck you. Fuck you. See? I'm pretty direct. Other people say, well, the Mormon Church, they need to grow. They need to change. Fuck that. They're evil and they're wicked. And those 15 jackoffs run this place here in Utah belong in prison. That's the first time I've said that. That's the first time it's come to my mind. I've thought about dissolving the Mormon Church, that the federal government should take a look at their 501c3 status and dissolve them and have their assets spread among other nonprofits in the United States. But now I'm saying this. Those 15 people, the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12, belong in jail. Fraud. They belong in jail. They've let people die. They've let the injured, the vulnerable, the sick, the hungry die. And they've used money of other people that was supposed to go to help those poor people. They've got themselves second homes, free education, free transportation, free, while these other people have suffered. They really belong in jail. Somebody should take them criminally and put them before the world like Joseph Smith was in jail. These people need to be put in jail. They're that evil. They're that wicked. They need to be sitting in an 8 by 10 cell with 3 or 4 other criminals. So, I'm going to end my video. Whether it helps somebody, doesn't help somebody, whatever. But I love Abigail. I love my other children. And I'm not going to let the Mormon church beat my family up anymore. Don't. You're fucking now with the wrong person. You've beat me up enough. You've tortured me enough. I've had enough pain. I'm not really caring too much about myself and the pain that you've caused me. I'm caring about now my children, my wives, and my family. You're not going to abuse them anymore. We'll see you in court. Let's dance.